Sarah J, and welcome to my art studio. It's an absolutely glorious day in Melbourne. Sunshine, blue sky. We've just hit the early part of October now, and so everything is blooming and beautiful. And as a result of that, all the birds are enjoying all the beautiful flowers, and everywhere you look, you can see nature just thriving. Anyway, so the other morning I was out walking Snow, my Swiss Shepherd. For those of you who have watched my videos before, I have a Swiss Shepherd named Snow. She's coming up to 2 years old. And yeah, so we were out walking together, and this gorgeous lot of cockatoos just came seemingly out of nowhere from the sky. I don't know where they were coming from. And they just started to move across the road. And I think there must have been, it was a whole group, there must have been like 8 or 10. Gorgeous. So for those of you who don't know what a cockatoo is, they're an Australian bird, and they're quite large, and they're white with this yellow tuft on their head. So they're very dramatic. I like them because they look very dramatic. Yeah, and obviously they're a bird, so they have a lot to say, and they talk a lot, and they're very chirpy and they're very loud. But anyway, so I saw these birds and I quickly pulled Snow back because she's a dog and she's like, bird, let's pounce. So beautiful. And so I thought to myself, why don't I paint a cockatoo? I haven't painted a bird yet. I've been working on the flowers and, well, the roses, and I painted lemons. So I thought, well, let's do an Australian bird. So birds are very special. Birds are free. And the thing about birds is they don't sit around worrying all day. You don't see birds having nervous breakdowns. They're not panicking. They're just going about their business. They are building their nest. They're sitting and looking at the view. They're taking it all in. And they don't sit around worrying about tomorrow. And I think that's a big one that we can learn from them, is to not get caught up in worry. I think worry really can rob us of our peace and our joy. And yeah, it takes away our happiness. And I think as human beings, I think it's really important to be mindful of now and to live in this present moment. For me, birds represent freedom. I've got a picture of a beautiful lorikeet behind me, and I've called this picture Joyful. I think that's my husband sneezing in the background. It's springtime. And birds are just joyful. They are joyful creatures. And, you know, in the mornings, one of my favorite things to do when I'm first waking up is just to sit and listen to the birds. So if it's very quiet, you can start to hear one bird chirping, especially if it's early, and just listening to their special sound. That one bird has their own unique sound. It's very beautiful, and I think if you tie it into mindfulness, it's really good. So it's a very meditative thing to do. So remember that if you're in a stressful situation, listen to the birds. Their bird song is beautiful. I used to always think about flying when I was young. My favorite superhero was Wonder Woman. I think it still is Wonder Woman. Of course, I tried to spin around and even put on the outfit, but I never seemed to turn into Wonder Woman. And I used to dream about flying all the time. Flying was my thing. And when people used to say, as a child or, you know, adult, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? It's always flying. Being able to fly high in the sky, to fly in the air, to be free. I think that's the bee's knees. So yeah, so today we're going to paint a cockatoo. I've decided that I'm going to sketch it out first. It's going to be a drawing. It's going to have an element of paint, probably gouache. I like to use gouache or watercolor. I'll work it out as I go and share that with you. And then I'll dry it off a little bit and use some soft pastels to bring in some highlighting as well. So it's going to be fun. I hope you enjoy it. I'll probably do a bit of chit chat and I'll play some of the YouTube music as well. And we can just really enjoy it. I hope it's relaxing for you and I hope it brings you joy. So let's get drawing Cockatoo. So here's my setup for today. I've actually set up in my dining room area. There's my little view. Of course, there's a camera there. Wine, of course, we love wine. Wine's good. Reason being, my husband is working from home today and we got my stepson here, so it's a full house. So I found a nice little setup here and I've got some nice natural light through my window, which is great. So the first thing I'm doing is deciding what the composition's going to be like. So what I've done is I've gone on the internet and I've looked up quite a few pictures of cockatoos, and I really want, it's the sulfur crest cockatoo, or known as the yellow cockatoo. So these are the pictures that I found. I think they're all really good. That's a great close-up that I can use for the detail. That's a nice one, but I'm not sure about that angle. That's probably not the angle that I want. And that's another nice up close. Different side. I did some research about the cockatoos and they tend to feed off branches that have already died because of the nutrients that are in there. So that's why you often see them sitting on more dead branches. Or they will also feed off eucalyptus flowers too. So you see them in eucalyptus trees. So I've just got to decide which one I'll be using, whether I go for the slightly dead branch. But I'm actually thinking maybe I might go with eucalyptus. So what I'm looking at doing for my composition is a little bit different. So a lot of the paintings are when the body and the wings are in. So, but I really like having the wings out. I think it's really different. And you can also see the yellow that's in the wings. So I think I'm going to do something a little bit different today. So the cockatoo is obviously just coming to sit down. So I think I'll do that. Then I've also found some pictures of some eucalyptus leaves. And so I'll just incorporate that and use some poetic license as well. The paper that I chose today is my Montmartre watercolor pad paper. It's premium. It is 300 GSM and it's acid free. And it's a really great paper for what I want to do today, which is use watercolor and soft pastel. So happy with that. So that's my choice for today. Of course, I'll be using my Progresso pencil to start with. So I'll do my outline. And this is the Montmartre gouache paint set that I'm using today. The Signature Series 12 piece. It's really good. I like it because it's got really good colors. Just a good range of colors and it's just compact. I just really enjoy using the Montmartre paints. They're just a great product. Tape to put on to protect the piece of work and to make sure I get some good corners. Here we go. So usually I like to work with nature, completely live photos that I've taken, but it's a bit tricky with a cockatoo, so let's get to drawing it. So I'm just going to sketch it in. Don't really worry with the sketching. I do a little bit of a rough sketch first because you can always adjust it with your eraser, so it's all good. I won't be able to get the full wingspan in because I'm doing a small picture, but I want to get some of the wing in. So that's the key thing here. Sometimes with drawing, it's like kind of almost afraid to start, but you just got to go for it and just not worry about it and go, I can fix it. I've got an eraser. Yeah. So what I might actually do later is incorporate the eucalyptus leaves around the actual picture, which I think will be really good. So I'll probably do eucalyptus around here and use it like an accessory. Now the beaks are actually really strong. I like to learn a little bit about animals that I am painting or drawing, and the beaks are actually really, really strong, and they can crack through like nuts, and well, apparently they can do a bit of damage. So unless you're familiar with your cockatoo, just be really careful. Looking better. I think you're starting to get some character now. I thought we were going to come up with a name. So what do you think we should call this guy? This beautiful bird. I'm feeling we call this cockatoo Sunny. What do you think of Sunny? I think Sunny's good because Sunny, sunshine. So I've decided to start with blue, and I'm going with the cerulean blue, and I think I will just mix it with a little bit of water and a little bit of white. Put some titanium white in. So we'll start to put everything in. In terms of brush, I think you just use what you want, but I like to use this pointed brush, and I'm just starting to put in all those lovely colors, not being too fiddly. I go around the edges because, yeah, that's important. It's hard sometimes because the pencil can get a little mucked in there, but you just have to be really careful with it and make sure that you know where you're painting around. So that looks like that's a leaf, so something about painting, it's so therapeutic. I just get really lost in the moment when I paint. It's one of the things I love. Paint and draw, it's the same for me. You just get lost in the moment and you lose track of time, and I love that. I think it's like amazing. And I've always loved it. I think it just is my happy place, you know. And it's amazing how we are creatures of habit, and we're used to painting a certain setup, and it's good to actually move where you paint, because I think then it means you can be quite resilient if you want to go paint outside, or if you want to go on a little painting adventure outside, you'll be fine. But if you're set in your ways, we do get set in our ways, and I think as we get older, oh my gosh, as we get into our 50s, we do get very set in our ways. So it's good to have change. Change is a good thing. So I'm going to look at doing the greens now. I've got 2 greens in this pack. Now we're going to do our beautiful green colors. So I'll be sticking with, mostly will be the Viridian, because it's a beautiful color for eucalyptus leaves. Eucalyptus leaves, it's hard to say, but they're quite dark. But I will be using some bright green, pale green as a bit of a highlight, and maybe some white in there too. Important to keep your brushes clean. Don't want to be mixing those colors in, especially when it comes to the yellow. I'll be very careful. The painting this size, you don't need a lot of paint, so you can see how much is on there. Because we're using quite a bit of water, I'm not doing it as a really dark color, doing it quite light. Start with the bright green, and I'll put some color in there first. So just a little bit of bright green in there because that will be the highlight color. And it's so pretty. It's just so pretty. Well, green is just so therapeutic, isn't it? Color of nature, growth, fresh leaves. Green just makes you happy. It's a happy color, isn't it? Okay, so we've done our leaves. So the gouache color that I've got here, oops, knocked that, sorry, is the lemon yellow. Well, that sounds like a good sound, a good name, doesn't it? Lemon Yellow by Monmar. I'll probably paint the eye at the very end. Okay, so this is exciting. So we're on to one of my favorite parts. I mean, I'd probably say that about everything, but I do love the pastels. Right, so what I'll do first is I'll start with a bit of the orange and start to work in some orange color in there, because it's definitely orange there. I'm not going to do a lot, as I mentioned, because this is a white cockatoo, but I am just trying to create some unique colors in here that match along with what's actually in the picture. I think what's actually happened here is there is shadows. Yeah, so I'm just really doing a lot of vibrancy in those wings because that's what I'm seeing in the wings. And I'll take that edge down a little bit there. Yeah, I love pastels. Pastels is so fun to work with. It really is. It's just an absolute joy. So I'm seeing a little bit of blue color in the wings. It's like a bluey purple. So I'm going to go with the purple because I feel like that's more true. So we're going to get into that and start putting some purple in. How fun is this? Pastels are so much fun. Never be afraid to have a go with pastels. They're an absolute joy. And I think with pastels, you've got to experiment and do what works. Like some people use their fingers, some people use water. I personally like to use my fingers. I feel like it just feels right for me. I think I'm more connected to the picture then. And of course the paper does make a difference too. So if I was using different paper, you'd have a different effect. But I'm really using the pastels like paint today. I don't always do that, but that's how I want to do it. I will do some definition later. There's more dark shadow in here, so I'm going to bring more of that blue in there. Again, the eye is what we see, so don't be afraid of color. Don't be afraid. Working those colors in until you've got what you want. So there's Sunny. Sunny is complete. My interpretation of Sunny the Cockatoo. So that was super fun. Really enjoyed drawing that today. I think there's something about art, it just takes you somewhere else, and it's a nice little holiday that we can have, a little moment. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed it, please remember to subscribe so you're notified of future content. Give me a thumbs up, that'd be great. And I hope that you join me again soon. I really want to share my art with you to bring you joy and also for relaxation as well. I personally watch art vlogs and other sort of relaxation vlogs where people just chit chat, and I find it really a lovely way to like spend time. Even when I'm cooking in the kitchen, I just pop them on, and yeah, I get insights from others and things that they learn. And then you get little cute little extra things like, you know, recipe tips and all sorts of stuff, life lessons in sometimes a very short vlog. So I'm hoping to share future vlogs with you and share my journey with you through life and through art. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing day. Until next time. Peace.